Hello everyone, I am Yakub, degree lecturer in commerce in TDWRDC Maripeda. In this session, I am going to explain the Indian tax structure and income tax calculation. I will cover all these topics here. Let me explain what is tax. The tax is a mandatory fees or financial charge levied by any government on an individual or on an organization. Here the tax is mandatory fees, that means everybody should pay the tax directly or indirectly, nobody is exempted. Okay, and the tax can be collected by government, that means the government may be central government or state government or local body, local government, and this tax is collected by only government, no other parties are allowed. Characteristics of tax. As I said just now, tax can be imposed by only government. No private parties, no other people are allowed to collect the tax. The tax can be collected either central government or state government. And the tax is a legal collection, means based on Income Tax Act, based on GST Act and the rules, they collect the tax. It is a legal collection. The main objective of the tax collection is to raise revenue to the government, and the tax may be imposed on income or wealth or commodity either directly or indirectly, and payment of tax involves an element of sacrifice but not for a specific service rendered by the government to the taxpayer. That means it is a voluntary payment of tax. And objective of tax, the main objective, just now I said it, the main objective is to generate income to meet day to day expenditure of the government and to make provisions to fulfill the basic needs of the people, and the good taxation system provides redistribution of income and wealth. That means the government collects tax and the collected amount spent will be spent on the poor people, and the tax system reduces the regional imbalances and it promotes capital formation. These are all objectives of taxes. Next, canons of taxation. Canon means it is general rule, general principle while imposing tax. The first canon is canon of equality. Canon of equality means all are equal under the tax acts. That means everybody should pay tax, nobody is exempted. All the people of India should pay tax based on their applicability, based on their consumption, based on their income levels. Nobody is exempted. Canon of certainty. The taxpayers and the officials should know the time of tax payment and the rate of tax payment and calculation procedure of tax. Okay, that is canon of certainty. Canon of economy. The cost of collection is should be minimum. If the cost of collection of tax is higher, that leads to higher administrative expenses. So the cost of collection should be economy. Canon of convenience. That means the taxpayer should have convenient to pay tax. Whenever, that means whenever he gets money, whenever he gets income, he pay tax, or whenever he consume the goods, he pay tax. There should be a convenience. Canon of simplicity. Tax rules, calculation of tax procedure should be simple. Canon of elasticity. Canon of elasticity says that the tax payment should be flexible. That means if there is any exemptions to reduce the taxpayer can avail the exemptions. Canon of diversity. It says that there should be more types of taxes like income tax, GST, VAT. There should be more than one type of taxes. That is a canon of diversity. Next, in India we have some types of taxes like duty, cess, surcharge, octroi, toll tax, terminal tax. Here duty means the tax which is levied on imports and exports while purchasing goods from other countries, and while selling goods to other countries we need to pay this type of tax. Cess. Cess means a special type of tax. It is collected for a specific task, specific purpose. For example, nowadays we are paying cess on health and education cess, health and education sector. The amount which is collected in the form of cess should be spent for the specific purpose only. Surcharge. Surcharge means it is a tax on tax. The high income earning people are going to pay this type of taxes. If the person income is more than 50 lakhs, he has to pay some percentage of surcharge. If the person income is more than 1 crore, there is another percentage of surcharge. Octroi. Octroi means it is a tax which is collected by local parties. It is the tax which is imposed on goods which are brought into our locality. Toll tax. Whenever we travel on highways, we can observe this type of tax. At the toll gates, we pay this type of taxes for using the roads. And terminal taxes, it is also collected by the local authorities. Okay, while selling goods from while selling goods to other villages, other states, we have to pay this type of tax, that is terminal tax. And tax can be classified into two types. Generally we call the direct tax and indirect tax. Direct tax means the tax which is collected directly, or which is paid directly by the taxpayer. Indirect tax means unknowingly the taxpayer pays. Here the best example for the direct tax is income tax, and the best example for indirect tax is GST. And the direct tax is progressive in nature. Progressive in nature means whenever the individual gets more money, more income, he pays more tax. Whenever he gets less income, he pay less tax. Based on the income level, his tax is different. But whereas the indirect tax is regressive in nature, that means the tax doesn't change based on the income level of the assessee. The tax changes based on his consumption level. If he buys more goods, he pays more tax. If he buys less goods, he pay less tax. That is regressive in nature. It is not depend on his income level. Okay. And this is our Indian tax structure. Here in India, the central government and state government and local government can impose taxes. Okay, central government can impose direct tax, indirect tax. State government also imposes direct taxes, indirect tax. Local government only imposes the indirect tax. Okay, here let me define income tax. The most common type of tax that eligible citizens have to pay to the government. A part of your income is paid to the government every year, and the government uses this money to fund, support the growth and the development activities across the country. Whenever we get income, for that income we are paying, we are contributing some amount of money in the form of tax, that is called as income tax. In the Income Tax Act 1961, there is no proper definition for income, but generally for our services, for our works, for our assets, we get some remuneration, we get some income. That income is uh, from that income we have to pay some amount of money to the government. That money is called as income tax. Here, person. The Indian Income Tax Act 1961 section 2 subsection 31 defines the person. Person means not only an individual, not only one single person. The person may be an individual, Hindu undivided family, or a company, or a firm, or a association of persons, or a body of individual with or without registration, a local authority. Every artificial judicial person not covered above all comes under this category. Okay, here person means not should be X and Y. He may be a firm, he may be a company. Okay, HUF or AOP, BOI, all are person only in the income tax terms. And while calculating income of a person, we can categorize his incomes from these 5 heads. If the person is employed, if the person is doing a job, he gets some remuneration, that is called as salary. The incomes which comes in the form of salary should be calculated income from salary head. If the person gets income from his buildings, from his residential properties, he gets some income like rent, that is treated as income from house property. If the person having capital asset, if he sells his capital asset, he gets money, that is called as income from capital gain. If the person engages a business, he gets income in the form of profits, that is called as income from business. If the person doing a profession like lawyer, teacher, chartered accountant, okay, he gets some income, that is called as income from profession. And if the person gets any income beyond these 4 heads, that comes under income from other sources. Here, while calculating income tax, we should categorize the person income in 5 different ways. And after categorizing the income, we should know the gross total income. Okay, I will explain in the next slide. And here we should know one term, that is assessee. Assessee means the person who is liable to pay tax, who is liable to file taxes. That means the person who comes under tax limits and who pays tax is called as assessee. Okay, all persons may not be assessees, but all assessees may be person. Okay, and we have 3 categories in the assessee, that is assessee, deemed assessee and assessee in default. Assessee means the person who files tax, and deemed assessee is a representative person to original assessee. That means an individual might be assigned the responsibility of paying taxes by the legal authority, and such individuals are called deemed assessee. He is a representative person to the original assessee. Assessee in default, that means if any person fails to fulfill his statutory duties, statutory obligations as per the Income Tax Act, that person is called as a assessee in default. And we should know the 2 years here, previous year and assessment year. Previous year means the income earning year. Assessment year means the year in which pay the taxes. For example, previous year is present previous year is 2020-21. Generally our financial year starts from April 1st and ends 31st March 2021. For example, the previous year is started on April 1st 2020 and ended on 31st March 2021. The assessee has to pay tax on the income earned on April 1st 2020 to 31st March 2021 in the year 2021 to 22. Here the income earning year is called as previous year and tax paying year is called as assessment year. Next, tax evasion. Tax evasion is an illegal activity in which a person or entity deliberately avoids paying true tax liability. That means if any person wantedly refuses to pay tax or doesn't show his incomes, his actual incomes, comes under this category. If any person wantedly refuses to pay or doesn't show any incomes, actual incomes, he should liable to pay penalty. If he willfully fails to pay taxes, the federal offences under the Internal Revenue Services Tax Code, it is offense if the person illegally, willfully not pays taxes. Okay, tax evasion means if the person illegally or willfully fails to pay taxes, is it is an offense. Tax avoidance. Tax avoidance is a legal usage of the tax regime. That means if the assessee uses his income in a legal activities in a proper manner, he can reduce his tax by using sections like 80C, 80U, 80D, 80TTA. He can avail some deductions, he can reduce the tax, that is called as avoidance. By using legal activities, if you reduce the tax, that is called as tax avoidance. Or by using illegal activities, if assessee doesn't show his actual income, that is called as tax evasion. We should observe the two words, tax evasion, tax avoidance. And here the slab rates. Not every person pays same rate of tax. As I said, the income tax is progressive in nature. Progressive means whenever the person income is increases, he has to pay more tax. Whenever the person income is decreases, he has to pay less tax. Based on income level, the assessee or the person has to pay taxes. Here we have two types of slab rates, that is old slab rates and new slab rates. First let me explain old slab rates. If the person age is below 60 years, he can avail maximum exemption up to 2,50,000. That means up to 2,50,000 there is no tax to the individual. If his income level is 2,50,000 to 5 lakhs, he has to pay 5% of tax. If the person income level is 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs, he has to pay 20% of tax. If the person income is more than 10 lakhs, he has to pay 30% of tax. If the person age is in between 60 and 80, the maximum exemption limit is 3 lakhs. That means up to 3 lakhs there is no tax. From 3 lakhs to 5 lakhs 5%, 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs 20%, 10 lakhs above again 30%. The person age is above 80 years, the maximum exemption limit is 5 lakhs. Up to 5 lakhs there is no tax. From 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs 20%, 10 lakhs above 30% tax should be paid. And in the budget, in the 2020 budget, the finance minister introduced new slab rates. The new slab rates are up to 2,50,000 no tax, 2,50,000 to 5 lakhs 5%, 5 lakhs to 7,50,000 10%, 7,50,000 to 10 lakhs 15%, 10 lakhs to 12,50,000 20%, 12,50,000 to 15 lakhs 25%, and above 15 lakhs 30%. Here it is their wish, it is taxpayer wish to opt old slab rates or new slab rates. If the taxpayer opts or chooses the new slab rates, they are not allowed to avail the sections like 80C, 80D, 80U. That means if the taxpayer selects new slab rates, there is no deductions. If the taxpayer selects old rates, he can avail some deductions. Okay, these are all the slab rates. Let me explain gross total income calculation and tax liability here. Here, as I said, the income of an individual or income of the person can be categorized in 5 different ways, that is income from salary, income from house property, income from capital gain, income from business and profession, income from other sources. We need to add all incomes in 5 heads, that is called a gross total income. From the gross total income, if we deduct the deductions from 80C to 80U, the income becomes total income. On total income only the individual pays tax at slab rates or at a flat rate. Slab rate means just now I explained the 5%, 10%, 20% something, that is slab rates. Flat rate means on long term capital gains only we should apply the flat rates, it is only 20% or 30% or 20%, 40%. And in the Income Tax Act 1961 section 87A, we have rebate. If the person total taxable income is less than 5 lakhs, the person can avail the 5% of rebate. That means if the person income is 4,50,000, as the slab rate he has to pay some 5% of tax, and the tax provides some 5% of discount. There is a 5% of tax and 5% of discount. Rebate means discount here. So 5% of tax minus 5% of rebate, that is 0 tax. That means up to 5 lakhs income the individual cannot get any tax. Okay. If the person income is more than 5 lakhs, we should ignore this point, and we have to add the surcharge if it is applicable. If the person income is more than 50 lakhs, we have to apply the surcharge. If it is below 50 lakhs, we should ignore this also. And every individual has to add the 4% of tax. It is on tax only. For example, the total tax is 6 lakh, total income is 6 lakhs. On 6 lakhs we are going to calculate some 20% of tax. On 20% of tax we have to calculate 4% of cess. It is the amount which is calculated on tax. Okay, and we have to add the tax amount to health and education cess, and that will become total tax liability. This is the procedure to calculate the total tax liability of a person. If you have any queries, you can ask me through my WhatsApp number or email. Thank you for watching.